Hello students, good morning to all. Last time, in my last video, I discussed about the consumer surplus given by Marshall. Okay? So, Marshall, according to his utility analysis, he explained his consumer surplus, in which he said that consumer surplus is nothing but the difference between what a consumer is willing to pay and what the consumer actually pays. That is, it is the difference between what we really pay to the shopkeeper and what utility we really get from the purchase of the good. So this extra satisfaction which you get from purchase of a commodity over and above it the price, we call this as consumer's surplus. Okay? Now Hicks, through his indifference curve analysis, also explains the same concept in the similar fashion, in the similar way as Marshall said. He has also explained the same concept through his indifference curve analysis. So, today we shall discuss about Hicksian consumer surplus. Hicksian consumer surplus. So, Hicksian consumer surplus. Hicks and Marshall have said the same thing on consumer surplus. Whatever Marshall said, Hicks also supports the same concept. In fact, the concept is the same. The way of explanation is different. The concept is the extra satisfaction which a consumer derives over and above his actual price he pays for that is called consumer surplus. So Hicks shows in a different way and Marshall shows in a different way and Hicks will show it in a different way. So let's see how has Hicks shown this consumer surplus through the indifference curve analysis through his diagram. Let's draw a diagram and see how Hicks has explained the concept of consumer surplus. Let's say we can say this is good X and this OY axis is, we can say this is the good Y or income or good Y and income, because OY axis shows both the income of the consumer as well as other goods than X. Let's say Y, and let's say the consumer's money income or the budget is AB. Okay? Now AB is the line which shows the total income of the consumer or the budget of the consumer which he has to spend not only on good X but also on good Y. So his total income is OA, and within this OA income he has to spend this money for purchase of good X and also purchase of good Y. So let's see what will be the consumer surplus of the consumer during his purchase of good X. Okay? So first let's assume let's say the consumer wants to purchase OQ amount of commodity X. He has a quantity constraint. He has the choice of consuming OQ of good X, and accordingly he is equilibrium at this point. Let's say this point is, let's say, E. He doesn't know the price of the commodity. He has the money income with him, but he doesn't know the price of the commodity. So with this he wants to purchase OQ of good X, and accordingly he will be equilibrium at point E on IC1. He doesn't know the price of the commodity. It's not known to them. So within his money income, let's say his money income is OA, and he has to purchase both commodities X and Y with the same money income. So if he wants to purchase OQ amount of good X, so how much money he has to pay, or how much money he is ready to pay for purchase of OQ amount of good X. Now listen, once he wants to purchase OQ amount of good X, means he is ready to pay. This is total money income. He is ready to pay, let's say, OK amount of money for purchase of OQ amount of good X, because his combination now is OQ of good X and OK of good Y, or OK amount of money he can spend for purchase of other goods than good X. So now at this point E, he is equilibrium at point E to purchase OQ amount of good X. He is now ready to pay how much amount of money for good OX of good X. Now he is ready to pay a K amount of money for purchase of good X of quantity OQ, and the remaining amount of income OK he can spend for good Y, right? Now, so he is mentally prepared to purchase OQ amount of good X and pay KA amount of money for purchase of that much amount of good. Now suppose he doesn't know the price. Suppose now the price is told to him, that what is the price now is told to him about good X. Now to purchase OQ amount of good X, let's say, now he is told about the price. He is told about the price, and accordingly he now moves to a higher indifference curve, IC2. Sorry. Okay, now he moves to IC2. In this case, you see, at point E, he did not know the price of good X. But at point E1, now price is given to him. So now he finds that good X is much cheaper to him, because he was ready to pay much more amount of money. But now he has to pay only OQ amount of good X and pay only a K1 amount of money for that. And because he now has to pay less amount of money, so he gets the extra satisfaction, extra benefit, extra utility up to K, K1, E1, E. So this you can call as consumer surplus. So Hicks says, before he knew the price, before the price was given to him, he was prepared to pay KA amount of money to purchase OQ amount of good X. But now once he knows the price, so he now moves to a higher indifference curve on IC2, and he now, to purchase the same amount of OQ, he has to now pay only a K1 amount of money. So now K, K1, E1, E, this house, this box is now the consumer surplus of the consumer, because this much amount of money the consumer was ready to pay for OQ amount of good X, but now after he knows the price to be much lower than what he expected, so he now gets some extra satisfaction, some extra benefit, some extra utility from this price, less price. So this Hicks calls as the consumer's surplus. Okay, so consumer surplus is what the consumer is willing to pay minus what he actually pays. Now he was willing to pay AK, but he actually pays AK1. So AK minus AK1 is equal to KK1 is the consumer surplus per unit, and the total CS or total consumer surplus is equal to K, K1, E1, E. This box K, K1 E1E is the total amount of consumer surplus that the consumer will experience through purchase of OQ of good X, and he pays only A K1 of price for that, and the remaining amount of his income, that is OK1, now remains for what? Now this amount of income now remains for purchase of other goods other than X. Whether it is Y, whether it is any other good, it doesn't matter. Our purpose is to show how much he was ready to pay and how much now he has to really pay. Ready to pay was AK, and actually he pays now is AK1. So the difference between AK and AK1 is KK1. This is the consumer surplus per unit, and the total consumer surplus for purchase of OQ goods is K, K1, E1, E. Okay, K, K1, E1, E is the total amount of consumer surplus which the consumer experiences through purchase of the total amount of good OQ. Okay, so we find the two concepts to be same, but the way of explanation by Marshall is slightly different by Hicks. Okay, thank you very much. एटा एट सरीला नेक्स्ट टाइम मु आसले तुमको आ गोटे टॉपिक ऊपर डिस्कस करी. ओके, थैंक यू, हैव ए नाइस डे.